Hey, welcome to Sundays at 6, our online expression of Celebrate Recovery at New Heights. I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. I celebrate recovery from the grief of a divorce, poor relationship choices, and the consequences of those choices. And I still struggle with not being able to control the outcome of things. And my name is Angela.
Hi, Angela.
Hey, Chad.
And I'm a calling me out in front of everybody. I'm a grateful believer in Jesus. I struggle with drugs, alcohol, lust, food issues, and probably outcomes in the rest of it. And my name is Chad.
I already said hi, but hello again. Hi,
Thank
Chad.
you. Thank you for finally bringing me in. She said she wanted to bring me in because I'm an expert on this topic.
I just feel like we, for so long during this pandemic at Sundays at 6, have had this fun, interactive banter between the two of us, and I missed having him with me. So he's here tonight, and I'm excited. As you know, our Celebrate Recovery is now meeting in person again at the Boys and Girls Club at 6 o'clock on Sunday nights. If you feel comfortable, we'd love for you to join us there. We are practicing social distancing, masks are required, and currently we don't have a meal or childcare, but it was so great last week, our first week back, to just get to see everybody and hang out in the same space together again. And so we do want to let you know that opportunity is available. We also know that there's quite a few of you who aren't ready to get back out there yet, or for other reasons need to stay home and stay protected from immunity. Stay home and just kind of stay safe and not being exposed to things. And so we want to continue to promote this online community where we've connected with so many of you. And that's why we're continuing to do this little abbreviated version of our Sundays at 6. And so first, we're going to start off just by going through the 8 principles. Tonight at Celebrate Recovery, we're going to talk about denial. And so what we're going to do each Sunday night is kind of bring to you a little snippet of what we're doing in person as well. And on teaching nights, we do the 8 principles. And on testimony nights, we do the 12 steps. And so you'll start to see that play out. Let's kick it over right now and read with us the corresponding verse to these 8 principles.
Principle 1, realize that I'm not God. Admit that I am powerless to control my tendency to do the wrong thing and that my life is unmanageable. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Matthew 5:9.
I've got happy are those who know they are spiritually poor. I'm outdated here. I might have to update him again. Then
Principle 2.
I'm not going to read this one. Earnestly believe that God exists, that I matter to him, and that he has the power to help me recover. And it says, blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Matthew 5:4.
Principle 3, consciously choose to commit all my life and will to Christ's care and control. Blessed are the meek. Matthew 5:5.
Principle 4, openly examine and confess my faults to myself, to God, and to someone I trust. Blessed are the pure in heart. Matthew 5:8.
Principle 5, voluntarily submit to every change God wants to make in my life and humbly ask him to remove my character defects. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Matthew 5:6.
Principle 6, evaluate all my relationships, offer forgiveness to those who have hurt me, and make amends for harm I've done to others, except when to do so would harm them or others.
Blessed are the merciful. Matthew 5:7. Blessed are the peacemakers. Matthew 5:3. And principle 7, the one that didn't get a scripture. Principle 7, reserve a daily time with God for self-examination, Bible reading, and prayer in order to know God and his will for my life and to gain the power to follow his will.
And principle 8, yield myself to God to be used to bring this good news. That is good news. Oh my goodness, let me try that again. Principle 8, yield myself to God to be used to bring this good news to others, both by my example and by my words. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness. Matthew 5:10.
Thanks so much for joining us for the 8 principles. We're excited to be here with you tonight and to have this conversation about denial. This is something that I think, like I said, Angela says I'm an expert on denial. I'm not sure how she means that, but we're all in some form of denial about something. And that's something I think that we can't avoid. As humans, we kind of protect ourselves with these ways that we do life, the ways that we kind of make sense of ourselves and the world around us. And that's one of the things that I think is good to know. If I'm aware that I have blind spots, then I take a little more time to check them. And I think of it that way with denial.
I saw a funny meme online the other day that said, acting like you don't have any feelings doesn't actually protect you from them. And I think that so many times we learn in our journey of hurts and habits and hangups that we pick up to try to help us handle the hurts. It's too hard to address what we really feel. And it's better, the strategy we choose is that it's better if we just don't talk about it. Hopefully, if we don't talk about it, it will just go away, or I'll be better soon. Let's not address that. I know a lot of people who come into recovery have that, like, why do we have to talk about that stuff? Can't we just move forward? The reality is that we have to go into some of these painful places to understand how that wound or how that hurt actually shaped who we are. That it landed us in recovery. And so stepping out of denial is the very first step in our recovery process.
I would say it's the hardest part too, Ange. I mean, this isn't like some of the other steps that kind of like fall into line, right? If you don't do this step, there isn't an opportunity to do the rest of it. Like you're kind of just lost in some ways. I know for me, my life, as I was working through recovery and kind of thinking about what do I want to do, there are a couple moments that are pretty, I don't know, I want to say pivotal for me. This idea that like, I'm going to go, wait a second, if I have a problem, if I can kind of recognize that's the problem, then I can do something with it. And so I remember sitting outside a garage. Probably a lot of y'all have heard me say this, but I was sitting there going, I have no idea how to fix what's going on with me. I have no idea how to change what's going on with me. I would say that was a moment where I was moving out of denial. I was starting to go, this is a problem and I don't know how to fix it. No longer was I just going to rely on my old moves, right? And that's pretty important when it comes to denial, is being able to go, ooh, this is a problem and I can't fix it.
We joke all the time about denial because we're like, how do you know? If you're in denial about something, you don't actually know what it is. So to identify it would not be denial, it'd be avoidance, I think. But there is this concept of like, how do you start to recognize I have been in or might be in denial about something?
You know I love my acronyms, but this acronym, it doesn't work spelling wise, but it does work for denial. It's don't even know. There's my K instead of an N. I am lying. Denial, right? I don't even know I'm lying. So how would I be aware of it?
For me, I know when I started in recovery, I came to recovery because I was told that I needed to. Somebody suggested you need recovery.
Somebody suggested it to me too.
But I actually was like, everybody else is the problem. And I'm only just coming because they told me to, and I want them to think I'm doing the right thing. And so as I sat in listening to testimonies and I sat in listening to Open Share, I started to kind of go, wait a minute, I am starting to recognize that I am the common denominator in all of these situations that have gone wrong. And I'm curious what part that I played in it. And actually in some of the problem and solution sheets, some of those problems I started to identify with, like, wait a minute, the one that says you're not able to acknowledge the pain that was caused to you by your family of origin or how it affects you in your life. I'm like, that sounds vaguely familiar, but I'm in denial, so I can't really own it. But that's where it started for me. And I think that's why the process of recovery is so important. We come together in community and we start to hear other people's stories and how they started to get healthy. And you start to realize, wait a minute, that person just shared their testimony and where their life went wrong sounds very familiar to where my life went wrong. And now the healing that they have is available to me, but I have to start owning my part. I know a lot of times in AA, they'll say, clean up your side of the street. I was really worried about everybody else's yards and how they needed to clean up their yards, but I had not really been tended to some of the issues in my life that I needed to face. And so step one was to admit I might be contributing to some of my own problems.
I'll tell you another
That's hard to say.
Oh man, I'll tell you another little spot that seems so hard. I mean, if you can start to notice that I might be contributing to my own problems, I think that's the first little key to it. But it's like, how do I stop? How do I stop relying on the things that have always kind of been my safety, right? It's like my best thinking is in some ways what got me here, but it's also what's kept me alive, right? Like I've almost got to deny my body or my gut instincts to kind of step out of denial, which that sucks. I mean, I'm not trying to be too overt or too hard on that, but I'm like, man, if I'm going to start saying I'm not going to trust me anymore, well, gosh, who do I trust?
Yeah.
You know, that's a hard place to be.
I mean, I think a lot of people, including myself, came in to Celebrate Recovery. A lot of people come in to Celebrate Recovery with mistrust. This idea that the reason I had to rely on myself to begin with is because nobody was trustworthy. That was the story I told myself. But then I landed in recovery because trusting myself failed. So my backup strategy didn't work. And so now what you're telling me that I have to do is go back to original failed strategy and trust other people who are going to let me down. And all these people are broken in recovery, right? And so this is a really hard thing to really grasp. And we understand this as ministry leaders. What we want to do is give a lot of grace to people who come in and know this is going to be a process. This is going to be a slow journey. This isn't going to be like, hey, by the way, you're in denial about A, B, and C, and now that you know, you're out of denial and life's going to go good. That is not how it goes. This is a slow process where you start to go, I want to start recognizing the part I play and then asking God to start shifting the way that I've responded. The way we do that is to start not only listening to those around us and the journey that they've been on, but also to start allowing that impact on our lives to shift some of the choices that we can make. I hear in a testimony that instead of somebody having a drink or reaching out to the wrong person or doing the move they used to do, that now they phone a sponsor, reach out to an accountability team. And there I am going, maybe I want to try that new move. And when I do, it starts to shift for me. Stepping out of denial is one of the hardest but most important parts of our recovery process because we can't address a problem that we aren't willing to acknowledge even exists. And even though it's hard, we want to encourage you. There is a team of incredible people that Celebrate Recovery who have already gone through this step. Not to say there aren't always things in our lives that we have to kind of consider and be ready to lay down, but that we recognize that this process of community and relying on community is part of what makes it work if you work it. And so if you are in a place where you recognize, hey, I am ready to start my recovery process, or I am ready to lay down that thing that maybe I haven't been ready to lay down, we want you to know you're not alone. We're here with you. And we would love for you to reach out even to one of us. You can private message us, or you can reach out to accountability or even a sponsor if you have a sponsor and say, hey, this is the thing I'm laying down. As you know, because this is a live feed, if you feel comfortable, you can put in the comments something maybe that you want to surrender, because we're about to kick it over to Justin across town for a little worship song for us to be able to reflect. God, is there something that I might still be in denial about? And am I ready to release that to you, to surrender that to you, and to start the process of recovery that I need? And so let's kick it over to Justin. And if you feel comfortable, you can take a blue chip for the thing that you're surrendering. Also during this time, if you have a surrender date or sobriety date that you want to celebrate with us, whether it's 30, 60, 90 days, 6 months or 9 months or a year or multiple years, feel free to post that in the comments. We'd love to celebrate with you as we consider the things that God has helped us step out of denial about. Here's Justin.
Lay my life down at your feet. You're the only one I need. Empty me of everything and open arms to you. Please don't leave me where I am. Take me back where love began. Though my eyes can't see the end, I believe you have a plan. So I will trust in you, holding on to you. You're the light that leads me home. Standing face to face with your endless grace, I am right where I belong. So I run to you. No one else will do. take me as I am. You let me start again, so I run to you. Your ripples of your love for me flow into the ocean's deep. When I sing your melody, I step into eternity, and I will trust in, holding on to. You're the light that leads me home, standing face to face with your endless grace. I am right where I belong. So I run to you. No one else will do. You take me as I am. You let me start again. So I run to you. Pull me closer, take me deeper. The more I see, the more I love, the more I love you. Pull me closer, take me deeper. The more I see, the more I love, the more I love you. Hold me closer, take me deeper. The more I see, the more I love, the more I love you. Hold me closer, take me deeper. The more I see, the more I love, the more I love you. So I run to you. No one else will do. You take me as I am. You let me start again. So I run to you. So I run to you.
Hey there, Forever family. I miss you guys a ton. I am a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. I struggle with depression, food issues, codependency, plethora of other things, and my name's Bailey. And I'll be doing the Serenity Prayer, so if you would, join me. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace. Taking, as Jesus did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you'll make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life, and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen.
Man, what a good teaching and what a good idea that we're going to step out of denial, that we're going to take the time to look at ourselves, examine the places that we might be missing it. Man, y'all, thank you for coming to check this out. Thank you for being here with us on Sunday nights and for all the comments and feedback. We'll be here again next Sunday night. You can check us out online here on Facebook or on YouTube, or you can come to meet us on Sunday night at the Boys and Girls Club. We'd love to see you in person as well. Thanks so much. Have a great night.
See you next week.